It was a case of goals and more goals as Paul Harts Nottingham Forest blitzed their way through the First Division season. With a rejuvenated David Johnson firing on all cylinders and Marlon Harewood joining in the fun, Forest thrilled crowds at home and away with their goal-scoring flair. The biggest goal of all, of course, eluded Forest, with them losing to Sheffield United in the playoffs after seemingly being set for a trip to Cardiff. But despite that disappointment, it was a season to remember for Hart, his team and Forest supporters who were thrilled by the entertainment on view. We heard the return of the "You'll Never Beat Des Walker" chants to the City ground, as the master defender turned back the clock with some vintage performances back in a Forest shirt. Other new arrivals included Ian Jess of Scotland and Belgium's Davy Oyen, but the real story of the season was yet another year of emergence for Forest's young brigade. Michael Dawson led the way with an entry into senior football at the age of 18, and his remarkable journey took him all the way to England under-21 recognition, as well as sampling life with a full England squad. Irish duo Andy Reid and John Thompson once more took great strides, as Hart's mixture of experience and youth made such a great impact on the First Division scene. It was a season that promised much, so let's take you on a magical trip that so nearly took Forest all the way to the Premiership. The season was expected to get lift-off on the south coast, but it was first-day opponents Portsmouth who grabbed the chance to provide a springboard for their own promotion hopes with a 2-0 win at Fratton Park. August turned out to be a mixed bag for Paul Hart's men, who came from 2 down to draw at home against Preston, and that was followed by a 4-0 thumping of Sheffield Wednesday. An all-too-familiar 2-1 defeat at Walsall followed, but with David Johnson running into early form, the Reds were back on track with his successive wins over Wimbledon and Coventry.
Forest were sunk on the opening day at Fratton Park by first-half goals from former Derby man Dion Burton and Vincent Perricard, who'd swapped life with Juventus for a season-long loan with Portsmouth. The Reds looked unlikely to claim any reward from their first home game of the campaign, as goals from Ricardo Fuller and Dixon Atuhu gave Preston a healthy lead. David Johnson gave Forest hope with his first goal of the campaign. And Ian Jess marked his Forest debut with a point-saving goal just 4 minutes after he joined the action as a sub. Marlon Harewood was the architect of Forest's first win of the season, as he set up the first, third and fourth goals against Sheffield Wednesday. Johnson was the first to benefit from Harewood's excellent work. After Sheffield-born Jack Lester had doubled Forest lead, Harewood carved out chances for Ricardo Schimmicker to help himself to 2 goals.
Home win over Sheffield Wednesday, that was for me. Being a workshop lad, there's a lot of fans in the workshop, Sheffield Wednesday fans, so that's always been the team locally, apart from Nottingham Forest, that's been up there, and that for me, that was a special occasion.
Johnson scored twice to take his tally for the season to 4 as the Reds overcame Wimbledon at the City ground. The former Ipswich man gave Forest the lead early on and effectively sealed Forest's second successive win with his second goal on the stroke of half-time. Schumacher decided to bend it like Beckham at Highfield Road to make it 3 wins in as many games.
September kicked off with progress in the Worthington Cup at the expense of 3rd Division Kidderminster, but 1st Division points were more precious, and a 1-0 home defeat by Watford came as a real setback. Marlon Harewood's first senior hat-trick then sparked Forest to life in a 4-1 home win over Gillingham, and David Johnson followed up with another 3-goal blitz against Grimsby. Stoke held Forest to a 2-2 draw at the Britannia Stadium, where Michael Dawson got his first senior goal, but a 3-2 victory over Rotherham made it 3 league wins out of 4.
3rd Division Kidderminster proved to be little match for Paul Harts' men in the Cup. Leicester gave Forest the lead. Schumacher extended it before Johnson helped himself to a goal. And Leicester wrapped up proceedings from the penalty spot with his 2nd of the night. Forest came unstuck against Watford. Neil Cox scored the only goal of the game in first half injury time, and the match ended on a sour note after David Prutton and Leicester had been sent off. Prutton was the first to go, following a late challenge on Alan Nielsen, and 60 seconds later he had company in the changing room as Leicester was also sent packing. The Reds made all the headlines for the right reasons against Gillingham, as Harewood grabbed his first senior hat-trick. His first goal came just as many fans were probably still taking their seats. But Gillingham temporarily halted Forest progress when their player boss Andy Hessenthaler equalised. Harewood restored the lead from the penalty spot and then set up Johnson for Forest's 3rd goal before half-time. He went on to complete his treble midway through the second half and claim the match ball as a memento. It was Johnson's turn to get in on the hat-trick act at Blundell Park. He got his first in the first half. The second came from the penalty spot after he'd been brought down by Paul Groves. And in the dying seconds, he beat Danny Coyne again to complete his spree. At Stoke, Sergei Staniuk gave the home side the lead. Before Michael Dawson levelled matters with his first senior goal. Johnson kept his excellent goal-scoring run going with a far-post header on the stroke of half-time, but Stoke snatched a point late on through sub Mark Goodfellow. Forest made it 6 wins out of 8 with a hard-earned success over Rotherham. Johnson scored from close range after a Shimmiker free kick had been headed onto the bar by an unwitting Rotherham player. Eugen Bock doubled Forest lead with his first goal of the season. And then Johnson helped himself to another goal. But Rotherham refused to lie down, and Richie Barker gave them a lifeline with a goal before half-time. And Darren Byfield set up a nervy finale by grabbing a second.
Forest exited the Worthington Cup at the hands of Jinx club Walsall, but they went through the month unbeaten in the league as they locked horns with East Midlands rivals Derby and Leicester for the first time. Before that, Forest, minus their fans of course, pulled off a 2-1 win at Millwall as David Johnson made it 10 goals in 6 games. Forest then had to settle for 3 successive draws at Derby, where they should have won, against Leicester, where they fought back from 2 behind, and at Norwich in a goalless stalemate.
Walsall brought Forest's Worthington Cup campaign to an abrupt halt at the City Ground. Jorge Leitao and Junior got on the score sheet. Before Johnson popped up with yet another goal.
Millwall have a throw, level with the edge of the Forest